Know that you are not alone in this struggle. In this video, we will explore the fear of failure, a powerful force that can silently shape our choices. Through real-life stories and vivid metaphors, we'll uncover why we hold back, and more importantly, how we can gently overcome this fear so we can finally move forward. It's a cool spring evening, and Sarah is about to perform. The stage is set, and the air is thick with anticipation. She gently cradles her guitar, feeling the first familiar chords under her fingertips. The audience is silent. Sarah hears the silence grow heavy. Her pulse quickens. She hears her heart thumping in her ear. The spotlight hits her face, and suddenly she feels exposed, as if everyone can see straight into her chest. She strums the first chord, but her knees suddenly buckle. Panic rises in her stomach. Instead of singing, she hesitates, then whispers that she's overwhelmed and quietly retreats off stage. If you've ever felt like Sarah, all set to go, but then holding yourself back, you know how confusing and heartbreaking it can be. Maybe you were inches away from a break, about to accept a promotion, submit an application, or express your feeling, when something inside whispers, "Not yet, it's not safe." You might find yourself making excuses or stepping back, convinced it's better than risking a fall. This feeling might make you frustrated or even ashamed, but it's often a protective habit mind learned long ago.
Many of us have experienced that knot in the stomach when success is within reach. Take Jake, for example. In high school, he was a star student, always at the top of his class, and brimming with dreams of going to a top university. When application time arrived, however, his excitement turned to dread. His chest tightened, and his hands trembled whenever he opened the application forms. He began procrastinating, busying himself with trivial tasks instead of finishing the essay. "I'll do it tomorrow," he would say. Inside, Jake told himself the college wasn't worth it or that he needed more time, but deep down, he was terrified of failing. A part of him felt relief each time he put it off, even though another part was ashamed. By avoiding the outcome, he avoided the chance of disappointment. Or consider Emily. She's built a successful career in finance and has friends and family who believe she's destined for great things. When her manager offered her a promotion to lead a major project, everyone expected her to be thrilled. Instead, Emily felt her throat tighten. She took a deep breath and said she wasn't ready for more responsibility. On the surface, she smiled and nodded, but inside, her mind raced. What if I'm not good enough? What if I let everyone down? What if I can't handle the extra work? Emily found herself declining the opportunity she had always said she wanted. Afterward, she felt a pang of regret mixed with relief. She used phrases like, "I'm still preparing," as a shield, but in truth, fear of failing or disappointing everyone was speaking loudest. Although Jake's and Emily's stories are different, the feeling is the same. An urgent pull backward when the future seems too bright or too big. You might see patterns in your own life. Maybe you've delayed starting that project for just one more day. Or you hide your talents, turning down awards, speaking softly in meetings, or quietly panicking before an exam. Perhaps you wait until everyone else is done celebrating before you even take a step. You may tell yourself you were just being realistic, but deep down, it's about protecting yourself from the sting of a mistake. It's natural to wonder, why do we do this to ourselves? Why do our own hopes become stumbling blocks? The answer might surprise you. It often lives in our past. Often, the roots of our fear stretch back to childhood. What looks like fear of failure is often a habit our subconscious learned to protect us. Imagine a child who was always scolded for mistakes or corrected harshly. Every spilled milk, might have earned a stern word or disappointed look. Over time, that child begins to think, "I must be perfect or I will get in trouble." The child's mind then takes that lesson to heart. Never risk failing again. In Sarah's case, maybe performing poorly once led to harsh criticism or personal shame. Her brain decided, we're never going to let her feel that pain again. After only a couple of such moments, it became a habit. Now, at 20, that child's voice is still in her head, cautioning her to stop. "This is too much," it whispers. "Better to quit before it hurts." If the child in us only heard love and praise for perfection, we grow up believing we must never disappoint. It's as if our subconscious has been taking notes every time something hurt us, saying, avoid that. When we were children, avoiding risk meant avoiding pain. That little voice grew strong, warning, stay small, stay safe. For years, this worked. As long as we didn't try big things, we never failed. The kitten that never leapt off the training wheels never fell, but it also never learned to ride solo. Importantly, remember that this pattern was never your fault. You were just a child trying to survive. Those fears you have now were like protective armor back then. That armor was trying to keep you safe, even if it means feeling limited now. By avoiding any risk, it kept disappointment at bay, but it also kept joy and pride at a distance. The first step to change is realizing that this pattern grew out of love and protection, not out of weakness or failure on your part. To understand this fear better, picture your comfort zone as that small, cozy village. You know every street and face here. It feels safe and familiar. Then one day, someone describes a beautiful city beyond the mountains, brighter light, new people, endless possibility. Your heart leaps at the idea, but when you see the long, winding road and the dark, unknown forest ahead, fear takes over. The voice in your head screams, "Stay here, it's safe." The village, no matter how small, was all you'd ever known. Leaving it means giving up that certainty. So your mind panics and stops you at the village gate. It cares about you. It just wants to keep you safe. That fall taught you a lesson. Bicycles without support are dangerous. It was a helpful lesson in the moment. But it also means every bike ride now looks scary. Your mind starts believing, better to just walk. And so walking becomes your comfort zone, and riding feels off limits, even though you could ride with practice. Fear of failure works the same way. The world beyond your comfort zone is full of wonderful things, but your mind only remembers the last scrape from the fall. It convinces you to stay inside the circle, even though wonderful adventures lie just beyond it. In short, our fears protect us from pain, but they can also keep us from flying. Fear of failure works the same way. The world beyond your comfort zone is full of wonderful things, but your mind only remembers the last scrape from the fall. It convinces you to stay inside the circle, even though wonderful adventures lie just beyond it. In short, our fears protect us from pain, but they can also keep us from flying. Fear of failure sneaks into everyday life in many subtle ways. You might have brilliant ideas and ambitious goals, but instead of pursuing them, you tell yourself they were just silly thoughts. Perhaps you used to enjoy painting or writing, but when someone praised your effort, you brushed it off. Oh, it's nothing. You might withdraw from a test or an interview at the last minute because a sudden stomachache or bad dream convinces you you're not ready. This pattern can touch every part of life. Career, school, relationships. Maybe you stay in a job that's good enough because a new job feels like a leap off a cliff. Maybe you casually date someone but end the relationship when it starts to get serious, telling yourself you had too much to lose. Each choice feels reasonable in the moment, but underneath, a part of you yearns for more, and that quiet yearning is what really makes us feel stuck. The irony is that by avoiding the sharp pain of failure, you also avoid the thrill of success. You miss out on things that could bring pride and joy, and you're left wondering, what if? But every tiny step you take is still progress. The goal is to keep moving forward, even if it's one small step at a time. In the end, remember this: being afraid is part of being human, but you get to decide what comes next. Each step forward you take, no matter how tiny, builds strength and courage. Even if you stumble, you've already moved. Failure isn't falling down, it's staying where you are because you're too scared to try. Imagine where you could be a year from now if you let go of just one fear today. Maybe you'll find yourself speaking confidently in meetings you once avoided, or learning new skills you once thought you lacked. You might even look back in amazement at how far you traveled by simply saying, "I will try." We all have an inner coach and an inner critic. Until now, the critic has been louder. But today, you can choose to turn up the volume on your coat. Tell yourself, I am capable. I may be scared, but I will try. With kindness and practice, you can transform fear into a quiet ally. So, take a deep breath. Look at that thing you've been avoiding. It's okay to be scared. It's okay to wobble on the bike, but don't let the fear keep you small. The world is waiting for what you have to offer, and the only real failure is never stepping out of the circle to find out. We'd love to hear your story.
My next
What is
step.
one small step, no matter how tiny, that you can take today to break free? Share it with us in the comments below. By writing it down, you make it real. We'd love to hear your story. What is one small step, no matter how tiny, that you can take today to break free? Share it with us in the comments below. By writing it down, you make it real.